Hey, yay! I'm... Hey, yo, friendos! And welcome to Session 0 of Northern Darkness, a Hunter the Reckoning Chronicle, hosted by yours truly, Bumwee Goldheart. Oh, whoa! Okie dokie. So I've decided for October I'm doing a Hunter the Beckoning Chronicle. Yay! There's a thing where I will be having a quick summary of what I went over at the end of the video. So if you just want to skip to that, you can't. At the beginning of the videos, I will have a notice about things. It might be like trigger warnings and stuff like that. I'll do my best, but I've never done those things before ever in my life. I've always had people who are very responsible with things and would just talk to me and stuff, but this is for, you know, a YouTube audience. So it's hard to keep track of stuff like that and make sure everyone's on the same page. And you never know when people are going to encounter this stuff later on. So I'll do my best, but I've never been had to keep track of stuff before, but I'm trying. Okay, so let's get into it and go over what this is. So, Mia. First of all, you'll notice I have a position where I'm on the side of the board. That is because I intend to do little sketches of things, and I'll put them on the... I had to bring the mouse to the... I'll put them on that side of the screen so you can see the sketches and stuff. There'll be like characters we encounter, some creatures and stuff, certain sights and things or stuff that really gets described will show up on that side of the screen. And I'll be over here chilling and doing whatever. So what is this image? This image isn't a final draft image or anything like that. It's just something thematic that fills the area and basically allows me to have an image when there's no image on screen. I will later have a properly built art piece image that'll be really fun. This is just because I finally decided I'm doing this, and I wanted something other than the Hunter the Reckoning books, which, you know, you'll see why. Anyways, I like the World of Darkness games. I played a lot of them, primarily Werewolves the Apocalypse, and then more recently things like Vampire and you know, Hunter again. But very different group of people playing those games than ones I grew up with. So I've been out of this games type for a while. I never did the LARP stuff or anything. We always did the TTRPG style. So then it came from Werewolf, and I was in Alaska. So there's a bunch of different things that generally don't exist. And we've always had this mentality of, hey, if it's real and exists there and stuff like that, we can incorporate it into the game. Somehow we're making it mesh with stuff. So that's always been the thing. So if we're like doing a campaign or Chronicle in Australia, and there's all these Australian creatures the books don't acknowledge as extant that we want to use, we'll go ahead and use them and do some work to make them fit into certain groups and all this other stuff, you know, and make them function. So that's that. You'll notice that there's certain werewolf tribes and things that are different. There's certain Ninhe who are different. There's a bunch of other things that are different. But that's because it's things that were worked on, people talked about and stuff, and they're presented. So yeah, we'll be playing this. World of Darkness, let's talk about the setting real quick. I would say it's more of a setting where you get to give people benefit of the doubt. And honestly, they get a scotch-free card because you're the blame monsters for the horrors of mankind, you know? And your characters are always involved in the horrors that are happening in the world everywhere around. But it's just, you know, blame monsters in this franchise instead of blaming people, which has been very helpful. You know, a lot of people who are in prison or working for horrible groups, etc., you know, went to these games or old school D&D, and that includes the groups I was playing with. And these are where they wound up finding their way to work out of that experience. So, yeah, there's a lot more I can talk about all that stuff. I'm not going to debate. This is session 0. So session 0, we would talk about a lot of things normally, like what's okay, what's on the board, what's not, what does certain people want to happen, what do they not want to happen, what, all sorts of stuff like that. Typically, the people I've played with, self-included, are okay with basically anything going down. But I have, YouTube terms of service and a few other things like that. So I want to... There's a lot of things that would happen that are just normal. Like, if you were going to a Black Spiral Dancer Nest, it is a hellscape beyond a hellscape. It's like a lot of the dems of... Okay, I'm not even gonna get into it. But yeah, there's a lot of bad things going on there. Yeah. So we're just going to do as much non-detailing of the kind of stuff going on as possible. Not because we want to underplay it or anything, but because it's necessary for the terms of service and to ensure that people can still enjoy this. But like I said, I will still try to have a notification in the beginning that we'll be talking about certain subjects. That way it's easier, and if it's too much for you, you can just hit the skip and go straight to the summary where we talk about what happened in the episode so you don't lose any of the plot of what's going on. So this is going to be a solo experience where I will be playing by myself using an old solo adventure generator and a few little notes that are written down to run this solo. I'll eventually be building more things to make it a little easier, a little more concise, and do more of this. It'll be fun. Okay, so there's that. Now let's talk about Hunter the Reckoning specifically. In Hunter the Reckoning, it's very likely your character is going to die. Alright, I've had people die session 1, like during their imbuing, people have died. Their characters are dead, make a new character. Bam. Or make 2 new characters, as a thing we would do sometimes because of how it worked. And then, whichever one you would stick to. But, stuff like that. Point is, characters are likely to die. You're not invincible. You do have supernatural powers and everything like that. But it's as much a curse as a blessing. And it's all really cool. I don't like I'm playing an older version of Hunter because it's a new version where you don't play as hunters. You don't play as the imbued, you play as just normal people. And it's not Hunter. What it is just World of Darkness, but they didn't want to label it that for some reason. Anyways, this is Hunter the Reckoning. I'll be playing the imbued, and that'll be what we'll be doing. Alright. So it's the word Hunter, and a lot of the words have Abrahamic meanings, and they all mean stuff, which they don't know in the latest editions. They've forgotten a lot of the meaning of things and just sort of lollygag around and sort of saft off into Nowheresville, instead of taking the meanings of things and looking further into them. So yeah, we're going with this because it's what I want to do. Yeah, what else? So we'll be playing this by asking, where is our Chronicle taking place, and why is it called Northern Darkness? Okay, so the Chronicle's name is Northern Darkness because it's a play of pun on Northern Lights. So I intend to show a whole rainbow of, dark horrors that are out there in the world to get people sort of like an introduction to all the darkness and the different things around it. And I might go through many characters to do so. We will see what happens. Hopefully my character will last. I'm going to try to make them last by doing a bunch of stuff I would normally consider cheating. And that is purposefully rigging the storyline to try to make it more inclined for the characters. For example, this could mean if I'm trapped under a rock, I might ask a question to the singer. Is anyone coming to help me? Is there a passerby? No. And we might get a few questions like that, and they might all turn out no, 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 no. And, my character dies of being stuck under a rock. It could happen. But I'll do a little bit more of that. Also, the way we used to play the Darkness games was we would take a real-world location, and we would have it take place there. It could be, in Spain, Australia. It could be, anywhere. It could be Anchorage, Alaska. It could be anywhere we wanted it to take place. And we would do that there, figure out where the different factions and stuff sort of have their separations and groups at, where they have, like, where's crossover, where's all this stuff, and figure out sort of the main concept from there. And then, the characters that we have in front of there, we just play them as they're trying to do things. Some have their own goals, some are just sort of living around, but they all wind up involved in the plot because everyone's doing stuff. Factions are always doing things, they're always motioning around. Different characters who exist on them are doing different things, have goals. And so it's what it's been like that, and this is gonna be the first time I'm playing a World of Darkness game where that's not the case. I didn't go through and pre-build a city's layout and then put the factions on it and what they're all doing and stuff. This one's going to be very different than what I normally do. This is going to be a very character, story-focused game. I have the one character while I'm playing, and as I cast on, I'll play another character. Hopefully we'll have someone in their cast who we can make into an imbued. Yeah, we'll do some rolls to see if any of them become. If not, then, we'll make our own character, a new imbued, who's there. So yeah, that's how this will work. The way we're doing this is so different. It's so alien to me for this type of game. I've done this kind of thing with other games, other, TTRPGs, but never World of Darkness one. So this is gonna be a little strange, a little weird. I'm really excited to see how it goes. Yeah, so, yeah. World of Darkness, we're taking place in Alaska. The first sort of session we see some gameplay is going to be in Anchorage, so it's gonna be kind of messed up. Well, it's all gonna be messed up. I'm gonna say, it's such. Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be messed up. That's just how it is. Because, like, instead of saying, hey, I'm in New York and I'm just playing around in New York, you say, hey, I'm in the worst parts of New York. Let's interact the worst parts of New York. And then you just, give them some cover by saying, monsters are responsible. Which is great. I love it. But that's basically how it's played. So we'll be in Anchorage for that first little session. And if we survive that, which we have a high likelihood of doing, then we will get to a fictional town. The fictional town is named UK. I built it before with like specific locations and other things and a few other towns around it and stuff for my own world building projects that take place in modern times where I have a fictional city that I can have things happen in. Like, I know it's a parallel reality. I factor in different cities and other things like that to showcase that. And this is no exception. I'm utilizing that stuff I built in this, and I'll show up in other things I do. So that, we can have some of this new concepts, this new design here. So that city will have its own history and stuff that, is going on. And then some of that will be unique to this version in this place. But most of it will be what the history of that place is, and same as like places in it. For example, to the north and south of the town, there are these essentially native lodges. So it's like a big lodge that goes down, and then in front of it there's a totem pole, and sometimes there's a few other totem poles around, depending on the one, like a funerary pole and a few other things might be around, and there's this wide open space around each one. So it's like essentially 3 or so to every pair of sides, so it's 1, 2, 3, on one side of the road, on the other side of the road as you come into the north, and same with then you go out to the south. So yeah, this place has a river that goes by. It's been manually extended out and all this other stuff, and there's a whole history. The place was pretty cool. We'll get to there in our second episode of actual gameplay. Yeah. So, there you go. That's the big plan. We might go to other places. Heck, we might wind up on a vacation in Hawaii. You don't know. Characters have access to planes. It's modern times, things could happen. Yeah. We're mostly gonna take place here and be about this to showcase you these different things. I'm a different kind of storyteller than a lot of people in this franchise. I came for certain group of people. I have two elements from that. Like I said, when we look at Alaska, we have a few different tribes of werewolves. Like Amaranth are there. They're the tribe of werewolves in our World of Darkness games. And they're pretty darn cool. But there's all these other different things like that, which, mid there. But I've also done a lot of reading on the settings up, so I use a lot of things that people might not know about. For example, in one of the Vampire the Masquerade games I had, a essentially 20-foot tall vampire erupted out of the ground covered in magma and did some crazy stuff. And he was just literally pulled out a book because he happened to be in the location where we were playing. And so I checked the conditions, they would be waking up at this point, and bam, he woke up. And the player's like, well, that's a bullshit, and I was like, go look him up. And they did, and there he was. So, you know how it is, the stuff like that, which I do take advantage of as well. So, yeah. The kinds of stories I tell. And it's very different. This is gonna be different for me too. But normally, they're ones that develop as you play. We've had characters build these unique stories, like someone who was all about being an assassin for hire turned into a specialty landlord with a butler who was really the greatest thing for him. And the butler wound up, being replaced by a Fomori and all this other stuff, and it was wild. So, yeah. This game is gonna be pretty different, even for me, because it's gonna be a little more narratively focused. For people looking for World of Dice, you say you've seen them before, you'll notice that in the more recent stuff, there's a big focus on, oh hey, I'm LGBTQ plus whatever, and my masters don't like it, or the oppressive power we're up against doesn't like it. And that's their big focus for at least one of the main characters. I'm not gonna be doing that. I know it's been a big scene where a lot of people do that, but in my own experiences and stuff, that hasn't really been the kind of issue for the kind of areas we're gonna be playing and where it's a dominating one. It can be one where for characters, it could be a thing affecting, say, their income and their ability to pay for medical treatments and stuff, but it's not going to be something that is the super defining story arc for that character. It just won't be. That's that simple on that, There's all sorts of characters that we can have, that we will play, who have all these different views. So, yeah, we'll encounter a bunch of stuff. But that kind of thing isn't gonna be a big narrative focus on our campaign. Or in our Chronicle, rather. When doing this off rip, so, there's some things. Yeah. So, let's talk about some safety things. So, YouTube has certain requirements and things for me that I can't go too far on explaining certain things. However, I am going to do things that are against YouTube preference, but not necessarily against the terms of service. For example, I might have a character say, I'll kill you. You know, instead of doing something where it says, I'll unalive you. If it makes sense for the character to say something like, I'll unalive you, then the character's gonna say that. But the characters are gonna speak what they think, and that includes political opinions and all sorts of other things. All sorts of wackadoodle. You know, if it comes up, that's who knows. It could be a discussion about Ice Beam is really important. You know, or characters are passing time, so having a discussion about the upcoming election or whatever. I don't think we'll have a lot of that. We might have a little bit. You know, I intend to have this full of story, but there's downtime and more that leads up to other events that make those matter more. So stuff that could come up, characters have their opinions. They might not match up with yours, they might not match up with mine, they're the characters. You know, and if it just so happens, hey, the evil bad character likes the same politician that you liked or that I liked or whatever, that isn't saying those people are inherently bad. It's just saying that character has that opinion. Alright, so don't be like, oh no, you made the bad guy have this opinion. Oh wow. There could be a good guy with a similar opinion. Don't know. That's who the conversation came up with. So I want y'all to be aware of that kind of thing. So it could happen. You know, try to take it lightly, have some fun with it if it does happen. Or go, oh no, I can't believe the bad guy likes the same person I do. That's hilarious, you know, and have this little thing, or at least there's one thing good about them. Or, you know, this sort of mentality or being like, yeah, I knew those people were evil, haha, slash, you know, past joking or whatever type of stuff. The point is, stuff can come up, stuff will happen. This type of game creates these sorts of things, you know? Heck, Werewolf the Apocalypse, which is where I come from mainly, is all about breaking the sorts of, like, norms and holds, you know? And its real focus on anti-colonialism there. And a lot of people mistake it as anti-capitalism, but it's anti-colonialism as a whole. It says, screw communism, screw socialism, screw capitalism, screw all the colonial BS. That's the main focus with World of Darkness, is those things, you know, with the werewolf side of World of Darkness, is those things got out of hand. They need to be put in lock, you know. So, there's that. Whew. At least that's been my experience in World of Darkness. And especially through the Werewolf the Apocalypse, that rage. You know, there's been a lot of that. So, yeah. But it's not the only thing. Like, we're dealing with all sorts of horrors, and I mean that. Like, you'll see as we play. And you'll see little captions and stuff. But yes, so this franchise is full of a lot of horrible things. Some things have been tweaked around, made a little worse. You know, honestly, because, like, they should be worse than they are there. For example, the Nunahe are... They're not very flawed. You know, even though when you actually look at the myths and stuff that inspired them, there are aspects of them that are a little more horrifying than what you see in the World of Darkness. So they'll be a little spookier when we encounter them. It's a lot of other things where that's the same case. Mummies have been totally changed. When I played with mummies back in Alaska, people had a whole globalist view of mummies, and it wasn't all just stuck on Egypt and, you know, Egyptian mummies and Set and all of that. Those are the main focus, sure, but there's a whole global perspective of it because of how mummies are treated as those who'd basically seen the universe, like they were behind the pharaoh type thing. They saw all of the truth of reality, and they came back and became a ruler afterwards, and were defined by those sorts of aspects. So we have a different way of handling mummies than just what's straight up out of the game. So that one's a real big important one to mention, because they can be of any culture, and they have access to this great pool of knowledge. This is where a lot of their powers and abilities come from, but it's also where a lot of their flaws come from. Alright? So there's lots of different things out there, and you know, I'm not saying it's go and say, hey, blammo, this is the mummy, even though if I roll up on a little thing here, it might say, bam, this is the mummy. So there's plenty of room for things to be weird and different. And Hunter the Reckoning says on the MOBA, change stuff up, make it unrecognizable, where the point is a player can see it and go, that's really close, you know? So I use some terms I'm familiar with, like, you know, instead of calling something a Nosferatu, call it a Strigoi, you know, and maybe just save a Samish. So there's this whole thing where you're not sure, and do your own stuff, you know? So there's a bit of aspect to that. What else? So, yeah, we're gonna be playing in that fictional city of Luque, which the name means salmon. Yeah, and it's gonna be a lot of, I think, fun. I have an idea of where Cyril wants us to go, but there's no telling what's gonna happen. It could go crazy. Alright, I think it's time I show you guys, show all of y'all a bit more about this game. So let's look at one of the books. I go down here, bloop, I have on PDF, which is over here, the Storyteller's Handbook. As you can see, there's some great stuff right here. Yeah. I scroll up to the top and see Hunter the Reckoning, Storyteller's Handbook. Straight up, guy is executing a vampire, like just bam. So I don't want to just leave it out of image of just straight up executing someone on the crowd. You know, it's not smart. But yeah, we have all the stuff going on. It's pretty darn cool. There's a lot going on here, you know. I do beat that. But yeah, so we have this game. It's pretty cool. And this is a storyteller screen that they have for you. The symbols are actually really cool and important. So I don't know if they'll come up enough in ours, but they probably will. See, so we have all these different stuff. It's all this information. See, maps! But here are some of the stuff, like some little and then we have action shirts, like what's going on. There's one thing that wasn't really covered too well on this part here, which was how the actions work. So I have that in its own little thing so I can keep track of it. But yeah, difficulties. Woohoo! Degrees of success, what they sort of mean. Experience costs and whatnot. Oh, how cold in breath. You know, all sorts of charts and stuff here. Dang! Close combat maneuvers table. Yeah. See, here's some of them. I don't know, but like, it's a little hard to tell. So, for example, the most common one used, dodge, is dex plus dodge. You know, it's, with these things are a little strange as well, but it's been a while. We'll get back into it. Edge costs and stuff, you know, it's pretty simple. Yay. Virtue points and things. The Hunter's Code, yeah, just a little bit here. There's so much more than what is going on there. Woof. Yeah. Health chart, yeah. Exactly, there's a bunch. So, yeah. Okay. Feats of strength, you know, see stuff that is pretty cool. Vehicle types, yeah. There's a lot. This is just a little thing to help you out with a bunch of stuff. This over here is my analog adventure generator. This was made for a Conan style sword and sorcery stuff. But we'll still use it, and we'll modify it, make it better, and change things. This is our little thing. I was inspired by, I think it's written on here actually, what I was inspired by. Mythic GM. Yeah, Mythic GM emulator. So there's a bunch of stuff I wanted to do and get going on there. Seeing folk, I see some of these words are like shattered souls, blood chains and stuff, but that's all because I was building it for this very specific healing. And there's a lot to work on. Yes. But, and NPC stuff's a whole bunch of stuff for, like, how people look, and then there's a conversation thing. Yes, here, generate conversations. That was pretty cool. Look at that. That is super neat. Everyone should have access to something like that. It is so cool. What is it about and stuff? All sorts of things. Yep. That's gonna be fun. And then our main thing is our hunter. So what are we playing as? Yes, we will be playing as the hunter, Ashen Sanyu. She is played by, of course, me, very, very good, Heart. And the Chronicle, actually did name the Chronicle, so that would be... Brain blanked. Oh my gosh, my brain blanked. Northern Darkness. There we go. Look at me type on a keyboard, so good. Nature and demeanor are really important things. So if your nature is the truest version of yourself, like who you are on the deep inside, and the demeanor is what you exude on the outside. So our character Batchins, like Sanyu, is a dreamer at her core. She wants to do something that lasts and make something important on the world. But she gives off the bon vivant, which is basically the partier. I'm always taking too much and partying too hard type of thing. That's how she looks. And a concept is a clubbing survivalist. Yeah. So, virtues are mercy, vision, and zeal. I love mercy flowers. Our creed is martyr. You don't know what any of that means yet, but we'll get to it. And starting conviction is 3. So, the martyr is a character who basically goes and says, all this bad stuff is happening. It's better it happens to me than it does to an average Joe, because at least I'm prepared for it, So, that's sort of what we're doing. Yeah, there's more to it, but that's just the basic thing. Attributes are the things we roll on almost every roll that we're going to roll in this game. It's all 10-siders that we're rolling. So as you can see, our stats are pretty well set up. Our appearance is 4, and this hair using pretty bad. I wanted that character to be very pretty. I so that she knows what she's about when she's doing things, and for her to be very talkative and charismatic. Yay. But also very perceptive. She's not the most intelligent lady, and she's kind of wise. And she has some streetwise. And strength, not very strong at all. Dexterity, pretty good. Stamina, pretty good. It's funny that her dexterity is so high because of her leg. Now, Bowie, doesn't Zarza have a missing leg? So what are you doing giving another character that thing? I gave this character an injured leg. It's mauled and mangled and stuff, but it still exists. But she is different. I was originally going what limb? And I rolled for it and I got legs, so... That's just the way it is without me trying to make the same kind of character. It's just what happened then. Okay, friendos. Abilities. This stuff is other things that a bit, like... Computer... Yeah, I can run one. Investigation? Decent. Medicine? Okay. I can fix up a leg, I can fix up a thing, I can stop you bleeding. Me searches too, yay! Performance is nice, I can do some things. Security, yes, for perks, all of those stuff, and making sure your locks are locked. Stealth, again, not very necessary. Technology, she needs to know a bit. Firearms, she's got one. Animal Cannon Craft, she's at 2. So, she can do those things pretty well. Survival crafts are pretty important, but general woodworking set is what she does. And not so much with big, like, tools. It's more of like smaller handheld things with knives and stuff like that, where she makes, things out of wood. Whittling is a thing she does, stuff like that. Talents. You see, I have a little bit of alertness and athletics, but our awareness is 3. Awareness is one of the most important stats in the game because it's your ability to detect the supernatural, and be aware of it. So you always want to have at least 1 point in that. So I work pretty high on it for our character, so I want her to be noticing things so I can, show them off. She got a little bit of brawl. She got 2 dodge. It's useful. A bit of empathy and expression. Intuition. I want a little bit and some streetwise. Yay. She's got edges. Project, revelation, and ravage. But you'll notice over here, they have triggers. Triggers, you can find them out in the game, especially a new one. Or you'll work with your GM, or, just agree with them ahead of time what they are. So I have these 3 ready to go. She got singing or dedication, like when she's making dedication, then she can project. Revelations, she, listens to music, or she's in a zen state, and then she catches some eyes, and boom, she can get the climb. And ravage, she's either in intense pain or feeling a crazy amount of wrath. And that's pretty cool. Explain those a little more later. It's fun. Backgrounds, we have exposure 2, mentor 2, resources 1, arsenal 1. This is US arsenal 1, by the way, not like European arsenal 1. This is US arsenal 1. Allies 1, contacts 1. Conviction of willpower, it's all good and square, so your long-term ones, all that stuff. Yeah. And then we have merits and flaws, which are pretty simple. So we have the approachable merit, best friend merit, acute sense, which I chose eyesight, and sexy. Okay, I mean, it's how it was written in books. That's what it's called. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Flaws, I have a crippled limb, chose legs, eccentric appearance, monstrous connection, which we'll keep a little hush-hush for now and figure it out in story, unless the character dies before we ever get to it. In which case, Fendos, let's have a little after talk about it, or what the character was connected to. Okay, I don't want to miss out on fun stuff like that. And then she has attention deficit disorder. Hey. Which, again, merits and flaws are based, I don't think I said it yet, but merits and flaws are based off what's a merit and a flaw for the kind of character you are, more or less. If you're a hunter and out hunting monsters, what's useful for you is a merit, what's not useful for you is a flaw. If you're a vampire, a flaw could be being 7 feet tall. Because then you're a target, like, what? There's a 7 foot tall guy here, all that sort of stuff. Whereas that could be a big boon for someone else. So, there you go. I have a Word document with a bit more information as well. Let's get down to that. And this is it. This includes our character. So, Ashen means twin. Sanyu means, again, roughly, gladness or joy. Now, I had 100 creation points down there because we might need to get in her chest. Silver edges. Here's what they do. Okay. Project. A martyr's determination practically exudes from their body when using this edge, displaying that most monsters loathe to face, becoming uncertain or afraid to impede or attack them. So that's pretty cool. Revelation. The martyr senses the subject's thoughts and feelings at the forefront of their mind at the instant of the use, making eye contact with them. The creature is capable of glimpsing the user's thoughts as well. The hunter's at risk of being overwhelmed by the monster's hungers and passions. It's really cool, and I can't wait to have it play out, especially if the club scene. And then Ravage. A gas pours from the hunter and travels where they gesture. Supernatural creatures react violently to it, and it seems to corrupt and decay their very bodies. Even intangible creatures aren't safe. Human targets will experience deep emotional trauma. The wielder of Ravage will get sick, having stomach pains, coughing, and vomiting. gives a better explanation of the merits and flaws, you know, and then you get over to, yeah, see, Natural Connection, we'll get there, wait, that's all I wrote it. So, characters, they can come up, we could have scene changes to where we're following one of them and stuff like that, so. All of the characters here are people she knows who are in Luque or are going to Luque. It's not the people she knows in Anchorage. Alright, that's... But, sorry, I'm gonna clip that. So the right 50. Okay. There's ad. Right, so, we have our mentor, who is Locklear, an older gentleman of mixed Alaskan heritage, almost always found with his trusty shotgun. Rosie. Rosalie Parker. Our best friend, Early Byron, slightly older, natural redhead, who's always dyeing her hair, has green eyes and wider set bones, topped with a lean, muscular physique. Wears a big coat her grandfather bought her at Sir Rodney way back when. Typically has a belt to add back to her feminine form, and came into ownership of his house in Luque after his passing. So, Early Byron is someone who I needed to have a bit more written into this little sentence here instead just a sentence. You know, so I wrote a few things, keep it so I can picture her in my head, you know. So that's why some things are specified, other things aren't. Her mentality and stuff, and when it will come up more in play for you to see. Yeah. For me, that works a lot better to get like some of the details down so I can remember them. Of like, what's an important thing? Is it something about how they look? Is it something about how they act? Just a quick little thing down there so that when I think about them, they're in my head. So that's what I've done here. Okay, so Sarah's not saying all of her like familial connections and all this other stuff and whatnot. That's all stuff that I know in the back of my head. And, you know, I should probably transfer to a better note somewhere else in case we need to go into advanced detail. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Yeah, for everybody. And we have our ally, who is Jennifer Hills. Roughly the same age, and is just as experienced on the criminal side of Anchorage. So she's someone who knows all that stuff and whatnot. There's Mal living in the K. My major contact is Hannibal Barnes, aka Hands. He's a criminal, always makes up in several theft and pawn-based activities at a time. So a little younger than Sanyu is, and my goodness, he is a little troublemaker, and woof, so he'll be our major contact too. We're dealing a lot. So every time you get the contact thing, you have a major contact, and you have 5 minor contacts. So make sure to get those. Very useful. So our minor contacts are Annabelle, who's a bit younger and always gave him trouble, but trying to elicit positive changes for her community. There's Quincy, an older fellow whom appreciates Ashen for her looks, reminding him of younger times more than anything. And he's always in a library or local a bit. There's Jonah, a somewhat older gunman. There's a ruined leg like hers. He often acts as a bouncer or event security. There's Valerie, who's into fishing and botany. She's always on the water or up on the latest news regarding the environment. And then there's Hector. He's ex-Sinaloa cartel member, now always looking for odd jobs and a good time. Now then, what's our arsenal? So we have 1 point in arsenal, and I could have gone a little more into this, but I decided this is where to stop. So she has 2 hand cannons, a pistol, 1 hunting rifle, and a custom hunting rifle that switches to a shotgun with some finagler. That one is named the Shot. Now she might rename this later or whatnot, but that was the name I had. She has given it. She has roughly 3 cases of ammo for each of these weapons. Also included is some army issue rucksacks and too many MREs. Oh my gosh. Anyways, yeah. So that's that. I could have got more. I could have got like a few more shotguns if I wanted to run that in there, but I toned it down. All right, I toned it down. So this hunting rifle that switches to a shotgun is based off an actual weapon that was homemade by a dude up there that I got to use hunting a few times. It was a really cool one, but I had my most supernatural feeling moment happen while I had that thing. So it felt really very nice parting into a game where we're dealing with supernatural things. So I'll explain that later. And when I tell you the story, because it's really weird, I haven't played it, it's what happened. So, yeah. That's our character. And we're gonna have a good time playing. Okie dokie? Okie dokie, okie day. Now then, let's get to our little image. Okay. Boop, that we're on. Okay. Quick summary. We're gonna be playing Hunter the Reckoning. There will be notes at the bottom of the screen telling you, or on the beginning of the thing, if there's stuff to worry about, like, anything that needs to be listened to. There's, Hunter the Reckoning is a game where you go out and hunt monsters and stuff like that in a corrupted version of the real world, basically. That's how most people would say it. I'd say one that's way more forgiving the people by blaming monsters for their horrible actions. Another thing we're doing is we're playing as a character called Ashen Sanyu, who is, fresh out of high school, like just trying college, gave up on it sort of thing. I wasn't listening, but that's the thing. And we're gonna be moving into our best friend's place, going from Anchorage to that made-up city of Luque, which exists only in the setting. We will be utilizing things from across World of Darkness with some modification, especially to Mummy, Nunahe, and, werewolves. But those things aren't necessarily changed too much. This is enough to make them sit in better with everything else and the way that people are asked to play these franchises. It's okay. So our character has a bunch of weapons and stuff like that. We're gonna have a session 1 where it's Anchorage and then leaving Anchorage, and then session 2 will be taking place in Luque. That's pretty much it. Like, I love your friendos. And all the episodes will have a little thing at the end like this that gives a quick summary so you don't lose plot points. They'll be a lot better than this thing here. Right. We're following YouTube TOS, but characters will still say things, they have their opinions, all that other wackadoodle stuff, It's great, it's fun, horrible things will happen, but we'll try to sit within those terms or word them in ways so we can get away with it and stuff, but that's all. Yeah, that's it, friendos. This is it. This is us getting ready to start. We're at the point we can play. The character could die at any time, and we'd have to make another one. That's just how this game works. Okay. That's it. I hope our character lasts a long time or survives the whole way through. And I cannot wait to go on this journey of playing a World of Darkness game with all y'all friendos and seeing what you have to say in the comments and recommendations for what characters should do and all this other stuff. Alright. Gotcha. Bye-bye now. Toodaloo!